Guys, welcome back to my channel. Really excited to be doing this video today as I just love filming, but also, where even is it? Unprepared. I am going to be doing a first impressions video on this foundation. This is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. I'm really excited to try this foundation because it's drugstore and I've heard really good things and it's new and I love trying new foundations. But also, this foundation has been out before and years ago I used it and loved it. Loved it. Got compliments on my foundation all the time. It was a flawless foundation for me. I really loved it. I started trying other foundations and things like the Estee Lauder Double Wear took its place for a while, and then I tried something else, and before I knew it, the Maybelline Superstay that they had was discontinued. And so you weren't able to get it anymore, and now they have brought it back. I'm not sure if it's a completely new formula. I do know that it's different packaging, so, and for the better. Glass bottle, which I think it had before as well, but ladies and gentlemen, it has a pump. So I'm really excited about that. I love that drugstore foundations are doing that now. This foundation I purchased at Walmart for $9.99. And I usually see that Walmart is about the cheapest, like has the cheapest prices for makeup and often a lot of other things. So I'm not sure how much this would retail for at like CVS, but at Walmart you can get it for 10 bucks. Not bad. There's cheaper at the drugstore, but for the packaging and hopefully the formula, it'll be worth it. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna be applying this with a damp beauty blender. I also have a couple different brushes that I could use if I feel like I need to, but I typically like to apply my foundation with a beauty sponge, and so I'm just gonna start with that. If it starts to feel like it's not working, then we'll move on to a brush. I already did prime my face, and I used a typical primer that I would use on a normal day. This is the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer, and I just pressed that into my skin anywhere that I have like any sort of fine lines or pores. And so now I'm just going to pour some of this out. I've been using this lately as a palette, so I'm just going to pour some on here. And I will say this is definitely too dark for me. I feel like in the bottle, it's like, yeah, that looks great. Looks pretty good. And then in the actual, like once you get it out, it's like, that's a little too dark. So I should go probably a shade or two down, but we're going to make this work. There's no way I'm not going to be trying this today. I'm just like too excited. Okay, so far I feel like the Beauty Blender is good, as in, and actually the color's not horrible. Like I thought I was gonna have to blend it way down, but I think I could get away with it, which is awesome. So far the Beauty Blender is working really well. Like I'm not feeling like, oh god, I need to get a brush, because it is a little bit thicker of a creamy foundation. It's not so liquidy to where it's like soaking up. Definitely matte, like immediately it's not like it has to set, like it's immediately matte. Okay, so far this is full coverage. I'm not even using that much. So far I'm impressed. Like I felt like I knew I was gonna like it because of how I used to feel, but you never know if like the formula is way different, or, you know, it's been a few years, like my skin may have changed a little bit. I don't really remember what my skin was like. It was definitely, I think, more oily, but that is like flawless finish. So that was really quick. I felt like that blended in pretty easily. I still have a little bit left here, and I used 2 pumps, which is not that much foundation. Usually to get this type of finish, I feel like I need to like use a generous amount with a lot of foundations. Did not feel like that at all with this one. Side note, one benefit of using this palette is that you're not working off the back of your hand, and so that you don't use as much foundation. Like I always have foundation left on here, even when I think that I'm not really using that much, I always have leftover. So I really like using this stupid lid. So now that it's fully on, I do think that the foundation color, which by the way is in Warm Nude, number 128, I do think I could still go one down, but it's okay. I feel like it may be getting a little bit darker as it dries. I don't know if technically the scientific term would be oxidizing or not, but it does seem to maybe be getting like a little bit darker. Luckily it's okay. It is very full coverage. It is very matte. It feels like it's dried down. Like for people who don't set foundation, like I feel like they wouldn't even need to set it. I always will set everything, but wow. I really like it. I'm like kind of like at a loss for words because I'm like, I just love it. Like looking at it, I'm like, yes, this reminds me of the Estee Lauder Double Wear and the fact that it's full coverage. It has a matte finish and it is very like flawless foundation. I have a scar here that's like a hyperpigmentation mark from a blemish that I had literally like almost a year ago. And it's still taking forever to fade. If you guys have any tips for that, let me know. But that's always like hard to cover, and this foundation has covered it more than basically any foundation that I have. Like I'm gonna put a little bit more on this and see if I can like build it up a little bit. So for one layer, for me to go in with one layer and feel like it was pretty much covered, that was really awesome. It does also feel like the Estee Lauder Double Wear, which I know can be kind of confusing for me to compare it to that if you haven't tried that foundation, but for those of you who have, hopefully that helps. But another way that it's similar is I can kind of feel it like setting on my face to where it's like a lacquer, which I don't know if that's the word I should be using, but it's very like this is on my face. I do feel it. It's not like I can't feel anything on my skin. Like, no, I can feel like there's a foundation, but I don't care about that. Like, as long as my foundation looks good and it's long lasting and it's, a good coverage and finish, like, I don't care. So I'm not minding that at all. I guess there's not much else to say. So far, I'm really, really liking it. And the test now will be, how does makeup perform on top of it? And how long does this foundation wear and stay looking nice? So I'm gonna finish my makeup now and I'll check back in and we'll go from there. All right, so the rest of my makeup is on and I had zero problems. Concealer, powders, bronzers, blushes, everything went on fantastically. Something that I was noticing while I was doing my makeup was the fact that this really has done a good job of minimizing the look of my pores. And I did use a pore filling primer, but while that may have helped, that is guaranteed not the only thing that is helping my pores look so smooth. I have plenty of other foundations that I use this underneath, and I still, while it's good, it still is somewhat noticeable. As in my pores are. And this is a foundation that really looks a lot smoother, and I've never had that happen. I feel like maybe the Estee Lauder Double Wear does that as well. I'm kind of trying to remember, but this for sure, undoubtedly, is really making my skin look smooth. I mean, there is just nothing about it that I don't like at this point. For those of you out there with dry skin, I can see you not liking it because it's completely matte. It's also, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's a very like on there foundation, and it's a makeup-y foundation. Not that it looks cakey, but it definitely looks like makeup. And somebody who loves makeup and obviously wears a lot of it, I'm completely okay with that as long as I like the look of it. That being said, this may be too much for an everyday foundation for a lot of you, depending on what your needs and wants are and how you want your skin to look. So keep that in mind as well. And hopefully, as with all these videos, you're just taking what I say and my opinion and comparing it to what you want and need from a foundation and kind of deciding if it would be right for you or not. I really like it. I think it looks awesome. I think this rivals my Estee Lauder Double Wear, which is my holy grail foundation. So what's going to happen now is I will continue to go throughout my day, and I will try to touch in a few times and let you know how the foundation's holding up, what I'm noticing, if I'm loving it, if it's breaking down. All of the details will be given to you guys during those updates, so stay tuned and I'll see you then. Okay guys, so it's been almost 2 hours, about 1 hour and 45 minutes since my completion of my makeup and everything like that. So I just wanted to do my first follow-up. Still really liking the foundation. I did get food on my chin right here and I didn't realize it. Luckily I was eating at home, but when I like tried to wipe it off, it did pull a little bit of the foundation away, but what do I expect? Like, I'm ripping something off of my face. Like, I don't expect the foundation to like stick up through that, or to hold up through that, I should say. Creasing around my mouth, you guys can probably see there is a crease, but I always have creasing on my smile lines. It's not something I love, but the Estee Lauder Double Wear is the foundation that doesn't crease on me the most, or creases on me the least. And this is very, very comparable. Like, just this line, like, I can deal with it. Of course, I'd rather it be perfect, but I can deal with it. A lot of other foundations, not only is there like a line, but you can actually see the foundation has collected like in that indentation. So I'm okay with this type of creasing. Everything else looks exactly the same. Like there's really no different. Another thing I will add is, while it's not hot here in Florida, it's only 63 right now, which is really nice. While it's not hot, I still always rely on a setting spray to help keep my makeup on, and I did not use one today. I only used MAC Fix Plus, which it may like help settle my makeup, but it definitely doesn't help the longevity of your makeup. So we'll keep that in mind as we go. This has been my first check-in, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, so I'm gonna do my final check-in here, and I don't even know what time it is. I think it's almost 9 o'clock, which means I've had this foundation on for 10 hours, which is a fantastic amount of time to be able to say how long this foundation has worn. So I have just a couple things to say. As far as lasting power, I have very few foundations that last like this one has. I mean, this pretty much looks exactly the same as it did when I first applied it, which is amazing to me. I mean, 10 hours, that's a long time to be wearing foundation, let alone to wear the foundation and expect it to look the way it did when you applied it. It's just something that to me is almost unheard of. So I am incredibly impressed with that. Looking really close up in the mirror here, I see maybe a little tiny bit wearing off the very tip of my nose. I think between my eyebrows here where I've made some expressions, it looks a little worn. Like I can see a little tiny bit of like marks where just from making expressions and stuff. But from here, it looks great. Just when you get up close, you can really see that part of it. A little bit here on my chin has worn off, but again, it's not something you can really notice. And then the creasing for my smile lines it's a little worse than when I showed you earlier today, but again, like looking at, you know, I'm talking to somebody like this length away or this distance, and I'm happy with how this looks. Like, I'm really happy with how this looks. 10 hours is a long amount of time. And I do have like some slight oil peeking through, but I actually think that looks kind of nice. It just makes the foundation look a little more natural. So that leads me to the next thing is, well, I am so happy with this foundation, and I wanted to come on here and say, guys, this is my new favorite foundation. Literally, I want to go get a lighter shade in this, and I want to wear it every day. I mean, every day that I want to look like I have makeup on, which is most days, I want to wear this. This is definitely not like a run out the door kind of product, but I'm not a run out the door kind of person. The thing that I was going to say is that I was in the grocery store a couple hours ago with my boyfriend, and he doesn't usually comment specifically on my makeup, but he did today, and he said, did you do something different with your makeup? And I was like, yeah, I'm wearing a new foundation. And he was like, oh, okay, I can tell. and I was like, oh, so do you like it, or what do you think? And he's like, I think I like some of the other foundations you have a little bit better. I was like, great. He said it looked a little heavy, and I mean, I kind of said that at the beginning of this video, that this was definitely a makeup-y makeup. This is not a natural finish or coverage foundation. And then of course I'm like, well, I'm obsessed with this foundation, so great, and he's gonna have to deal with it because I like wearing it. But anyways, he could tell that it was a little heavy, so take that for whatever it's worth. I think it looks incredible. I will try to use maybe a little bit less. I could also try putting in a drop of oil, or mixing it with a less full coverage foundation to make it a little bit more liquidy. There's a lot of things I can do to try to like thin out the foundation so it's not as heavy looking. So I will experiment with that and try that, but right now I am so impressed. I really, really love it. I love how like flawless I feel like my face is, and I will 100% be continuing to wear this. And I would go as far to say that this is my new holy grail foundation when I want to look perfect. Some days I don't really care about that much, but when I want to look perfect, I am really going to reach for this. So that completes this video. Let me know if you've tried this foundation in the comments below. What do you think about how it looks, how it wore? Do you like this like really full coverage look? Let me know. I want to talk to you guys in the comments, and thank you for being here and subscribing to my channel. I hope you'll like the video if you liked it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.